Welcome to my backyard garden transformation series. Today I'm turning this overgrown bed into a squash bed. We aren't using any specialized tools to get the job done. We are just going to keep it simple and pull everything we don't want out by hand. Now at this point in my backyard garden transformation journey, I have already cleared out and planted 3 other beds. 2 have been planted with beans and 1 with amaranth. Now, I'm using what is already in the beds to help determine my approach to clearing out the beds. 2 of the 3 beds planted were covered with short grasses that had been recently mowed, so instead of pulling up the grass by hand, I tilled the ground using a shovel, since pulling out short grasses wouldn't have been practical. Whereas the beds with tall grasses and weeds, I am pulling up by hand. And after trying both methods, I can say I much prefer pulling out the weeds as opposed to pulling out my shovel, mostly because I'm not near as exhausted afterwards. And for the most part, the weeds and grass are coming up, roots and all, with little resistance. Now, I should note, my goal with this bed wasn't to pull out every single thing. There were a few things I decided to leave in, either because I thought the plant looked nice, or because it would have been a huge hassle to remove. And here's the bed after it's been cleared out. Now, this next step has been a total game changer. I was introduced to the idea of straw mulching a few years ago when I came across the Ruth Stout no-till method, and so far I am loving it, and I wish I tried it with my previous beds. Now, the only reason I didn't try straw mulching sooner was because I didn't think I could fit a bale of straw in my car, but I found out Tractor Supply sells compacted bales, which are super convenient to transport. And here I'm just spraying the straw down with a little water to prevent it from blowing away. Now, when it comes to transplanting the squash, I came across a bit of an embarrassing problem. I don't know what I'm transplanting, because I forgot to label the seeds when I started. I remember planting 3 different varieties, so I sorted them into the categories of what looked similar. Now, I'm only planting the 6 that were on the left in this squash bed. The 3 on the right were transplanted the same day into one of the bean beds. And the 3 in the middle, they don't look super great here, so I'm going to doctor them up a bit so they are stronger for transplanting. My game plan for transplanting was to move the straw out of the way, then I'm laying down some leftover potting mix. The kind I'm using is supposed to be suitable for in-ground use and for pots. Then I'm pressing extra soil around the starts before redistributing the straw around the starts. I didn't dig into the soil because I wanted to mount up the squash, but looking back at this video, I don't think I mounted them up near as high as I should have. We'll see if this becomes a problem down the road as the plants grow bigger. Hopefully they have enough space. And last step is to give the plants a little bit of water. It is a little hard to see here, but I do have all 6 squash starts planted out here. And here they are just under 3 weeks later. They were struggling a little bit initially because I accidentally overwatered them, thinking I was underwatering them, but I've stepped back on the watering and they're looking much better. Here you can see that the straw is working pretty well to keep down the weeds and the grass. Not perfect, but it is much better than the other beds that I started where I didn't lay down the straw initially. Alright, and there we have it for this part of the garden transformation series.